The final bell of the day chimed, echoing through the empty corridors of the school. With a sense of relief, I gathered my belongings and made my way out of the classroom. After basketball practice, as we exited the gym and stepped out onto the dimly lit street, darkness had already begun to settle. The glow of streetlights cast long shadows across the pavement, adding an eerie ambience to the evening. We hopped onto our bikes, Jake and I, the cool evening air rushing past us as we pedaled side by side. As we rode, our conversation drifted from basketball strategies to plans for the weekend, the camaraderie between us easing the monotony of the journey. Little did I know, however, that our routine ride home would soon take a chilling turn, plunging us into a nightmarish ordeal that would test our courage and resilience to the core. Glancing over my shoulder, I noticed a car trailing behind us. A sense of unease crept over me as I realized the vehicle wasn't just passing by, it was following us. Do you see that car behind us? It's been following us for a while now. Jake glanced over his shoulder, his brow furrowing in confusion. Yeah, that's weird. Maybe they're just heading in the same direction as us. Despite his attempt at reassurance, a knot of apprehension tightened in my stomach. The car's presence felt too deliberate, too menacing to dismiss as mere coincidence. As we continued along the winding road, the car remained a constant presence behind us. My heart quickened with each passing mile, a sense of foreboding settling over me like a heavy cloak. "Alex, I don't like this," Jake whispered, his voice barely audible over the hum of our bicycles. "What if they're following us on purpose?" His words mirrored my own fears, sending a chill down my spine. With each turn of the road, the car seemed to draw closer, its presence looming like a shadowy specter in the encroaching darkness. Hands tightened around the handlebars of my bike as a sense of dread washed over me. Glancing nervously at Jake, I could see the tension mirrored in his expression. It was clear that neither of us felt safe with the mysterious car following us so persistently. As we rounded a bend in the road and hid behind the trees, a chilling sight greeted us. The car had come to a stop just ahead, its engine idling ominously in the fading light. My heart hammered in my chest as I watched a figure emerge from the driver's seat, obscured by the menacing mask. Who is that?" Jake whispered, his voice barely audible above the rustle of leaves in the evening breeze. "I don't know," I replied, my voice trembling with fear. My heart pounded in my chest as I realized that the masked man was searching for us, his intentions unknown and chilling. Panic surged through me as I struggled to make sense of the situation, my mind racing with fear and uncertainty. Minutes stretched into eternity as we remained hidden, our senses heightened to the slightest sound or movement. Every rustle of leaves, every creak of a branch, sent a shiver down my spine as I braced myself for the worst. "We need to do something," I whispered, my voice barely audible over the pounding of my heart. "We can't just stay hidden here forever." Jake nodded, his expression grim. "But what can we do? That guy is out there looking for us, and who knows what he's capable of." As fear gnawed at my insides, a flicker of determination ignited within me. We couldn't afford to cower in the shadows any longer. We needed to take control of the situation, to outsmart our pursuer and find a way to escape. "I have an idea," I said, my voice steadier now with newfound resolve. "It's risky, but it might be our only chance." With trembling hands, I outlined my plan to Jake, his eyes widening in disbelief at the audacity of my scheme. But as I spoke, I could see the glimmer of hope in his gaze, the realization that we couldn't afford to pass up any opportunity for escape. With a shared nod of agreement, we prepared to put our plan into action. Silently slipping through the shadows, we made our way towards the car where the masked man had parked, our hearts pounding in our chests with each step. As we reached the vehicle, I retrieved a sharp object from my backpack, my hands trembling with adrenaline as I approached the car's rear tire. With a swift, determined motion, I punctured the rubber, the hiss of escaping air a satisfying confirmation of our sabotage. Heart racing, I turned to Jake, his eyes shining with a mixture of fear and determination. "Let's get out of here," I whispered, my voice barely above a breath. With one last glance at the masked figure still searching the darkness, we mounted our bikes. Adrenaline surged through my veins as Jake and I pedaled furiously away from the scene of our daring sabotage. Behind us, the masked figure emerged from the darkness, his eyes narrowing in fury as he discovered the flat tire. With a primal roar of rage, he gave chase, his footsteps pounding against the pavement in hot pursuit. Fear gripped me as I realized that our escape hung in the balance, our fates teetering on the edge of the unknown. With every ounce of strength I possessed, I pumped my legs hard. "Keep going, Alex," Jake shouted, his voice strained with exertion. "We can't let him catch us." I nodded in agreement, my breath coming in ragged gasps as I pushed myself to the limit. The wind whipped through my hair, the cool night air a stark contrast to the heat of the chase. Panic threatened to consume me as I realized that our narrow escape hung in the balance. With each passing moment, the distance between us and our pursuer grew shorter, his menacing presence closing in like a predator on the hunt. However, the figure in the mask seemed to grow weary of the chase, and its movements slowed to a complete stop. Relief washed over me as I witnessed it cease its pursuit and stand motionless. I glanced at Jake, noting the mix of concern and confusion on his face. He stopped following us?" I asked. Jake nodded, catching his breath. "Seems like it. Maybe he got tired or something." Despite the lingering unease, I felt a surge of gratitude that our pursuer had relented. Yet as I looked at the motionless figure in the mask, a sense of frustration and uncertainty lingered. "We should keep moving," I said, my voice strained with anxiety. "Let's not linger here." With Jake's agreement, we continued our journey homeward, our pace quickening as we distanced ourselves from the enigmatic figure behind us. But even as we rode on, the memory of the encounter remained, casting a shadow over our journey. And when we finally reached the safety of home, I couldn't shake the feeling that our trial was far from over, and the true nature of our pursuer remained a mystery.